Hello, my name is Sara Oehler and I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager for Softflex Company. Today I'm in the Beadaholique studio and so excited to share with you a tutorial about using Softflex beading wire on a Kumihimo disc. Everyone here was so excited when I pulled out some designs using our products on the Kumihimo disc because it just looks so unique and fresh and special. And I know they have a ton of Kumihimo fans out there. So I'm excited to be able to share this quick and easy tutorial with you. So I already cut some lengths of wire to start, and we just went ahead and wrapped the wire into a bobbin. If you've never used these bobbins before, they're really easy. They just fold out, you wrap your wire around it, and then you can close it down. If you want added security, you can even tape the wire inside of the bobbin, and that'll help ensure that it doesn't unravel as you're working with it. Wire wants to pull free, unlike thread, that will kind of just sit. Wire is going to want to unravel pretty quickly. So you do have to be a little careful about that when you're using Softflex. So I already have 7 of these clipped into a bead stopper. And I left the 8th one just to kind of show you, if you've never used a bead stopper before, what that's going to look like. So you can see I have each wire sort of in its own rung of the bead stopper. And I'm going to be really careful as I add this last one not to lose all my other wires. So I'm going to open it and just slide it inside so that it's in its own little special space. And then I've got all 8 wires attached to my bead stopper. I have 2 types of discs here to show you. I'm going to use the regular sized Kumihimo disc, and this is the double density, so it's I think twice as thick as the original foam discs were when they first came out. It's fantastic when you're using wire. Not only our Softflex beading wire, but also Softflex craft wire. Because it does really dig into the Kumihimo disc, it really helps to have that extra thickness to really hang on to the wire. And it comes in 2 different sizes. The mini is great if you're doing any traveling or you just need a smaller board. They kind of work in a very similar way, and they have the same output. One is just smaller and one is larger, and I'm going to use the larger one today. So I'll just set this mini one aside. I just wanted to let you guys know that it was an option. So to get started, I'm going to take all 8 wires and I'm going to sink it down in the middle of my Kumihimo disc. And then I'm just going to take my top wire and I'm going to sink it between 31 and 32 on the left-hand side of this dot here. And same with my second wire, I'm going to sink it on the other side of the black dot at 32. And then I'll take my next wire in my order here, and I'll go over to the side above 24. And my next one on the other side above 8. And I'm just going to keep going around every dot, so below 24 and the other side of 8. And you can see I really have to kind of dig in to get the wire inside there, but that really helps with tension. I don't normally use a weight, but I know one of my coworkers really likes using a Kumihimo weight, and you could actually attach that right to your bead stopper, and then as we're braiding, it's going to give it a little extra pull. I offer pretty good tension all on my own, especially with these new double density boards, so I don't personally use a weight. So starting here at the bottom, I'm going to take the bottom left and bring it up to the top left, the top right, bring it down to the bottom right. And then I'm going to move the board counterclockwise so that I have 8 at the top, 24 at the bottom, and I'm going to do the same thing. Bottom left to top left, top right to bottom right. So you will see this is exactly the same, and you just keep repeating. This is exactly the same as when you have a thread. The difference being is that Softflex is a stainless steel beading wire. So we've got 49 strands of stainless steel running through this wire with a nylon coating. This particular one has a copper color nylon coating. So you're just gonna get a completely different type of output than you would with a thread. And what's really lovely about it is when you're using it with beads, especially big crystals, you won't have to worry about the crystal on the edge cutting into the thread or cord that you're using and breaking, because you've got a really strong stainless steel base that looks really beautiful when you leave it all by itself, but also lends itself well to adding beads and other items to it. So I've showed you how to get started. Now I'm going to show you how to finish this design off, because it is a little bit different with soft flex. You're not just going to tie it off like you would with a thread or glue it into a cone of some sort. So I've actually done an entire piece here, and you'll see that I've cut it off the board entirely, but I have a pretty long length on both sides. And I'm just gonna use a crimp tube to attach this simple clasp here. So it can be a little wonky on the ends. If you prefer, you can always use a cone. This doesn't usually bother me too much. You can kind of see here on this design that similar kind of a feel. But once it's in a design and it's pulling with the weight of it, it is going to pull that weave down just a little bit too. So I'm going to go ahead and undo one of the sides where I just had a bead stopper holding things in place. I'm going to push down my crimp all the way to the end of the braid. And then in this particular design, I'm just going to take a couple of these strands because it is a fairly large clasp. Maybe 2 or 3 of them. You don't have to do all 8. I'm going to take 3 of them. And I'm going to string it through the jump ring on my clasp and then back into this big crimp. I'm using a 3 by 3 millimeter crimp tube. I believe this particular one is sterling silver. And I'm just going to pull this down so that all of my links are even here at the top. And we're going to use a pair of mighty crimpers to crimp this tube. So mighty crimpers are a lot like regular crimping pliers. They have 2 holes. One has a little tooth and one is round. I'm going to use the tooth first to create a divot in the crimp tube, and then I'm going to round it in to sort of fold it in onto the wire. So tooth first, it's going to put a divot into that crimp tube. You can see sort of like a deep well, and then I'm going to turn it on its side sort of like it's a C shape so that I can crimp that in. And then just like any other crimping plier, I like to go around it several times because the idea of crimping is that you're cinching that metal into the nylon coating of the wire, and you don't want to lose a single bit. So get it all nice and tight and secure, and then you can come in, and I'd like to do 1 wire at a time and trim off all these excess wires on both ends. So I'm trimming the 3 on the bottom, and then there's actually 5 up top that I'll trim off. Just get it nice and close. If you wanted, you could always add a crimp cover to this as well. Or you could paint it with a patina to make it a really fun color. Quick and easy. And there you have it. You would do the same thing on the other side if you were making a simple bracelet or a necklace, just using another 3 by 3 millimeter crimp tube and the mighty crimpers to finish the design off. I have one more design that I want to show you, and then I'll let you go for the day. But this is another Kumihimo design that's just loosely knotted. And so it actually has a little bit of give to it, but it's also using a thread. So you not only can use the wire, but you can intermix in other materials as well. So maybe 4 strands of soft flex beading wire and 4 strands of a yarn or a metallic thread or something else that's going to give it a different kind of texture. So I hope you learned a lot of useful tips today in our Kumihimo demonstration with Softflex beading wire, and I certainly hope that you'll give it a try sometime soon. You can check out all of these products by going to Beadaholique.com and definitely give it a try. Thank you.